we go. All right. My name's Robin Whitworth, and I have with me Heather McCafferty, and she is a client inside of our Elevated Mother program, and she's amazing. Heather, give us a little snippet of your life, as much as you want to share or don't want to share. Like, are you married? Do you have kids? Just do you work?
Yeah, so I'm married and I have 5 kids. We have I wouldn't say a blended family because my husband doesn't have children from another relationship, but I was married before. Um as a teenager, only married 3 years, raising 3 girls by myself, and then my husband came into my life and we had 2 more children. And so we kind of have 2 separate families, the older kids, the younger kids. um, I work full time and um, I've got 5 grandkids too. So it's a lot.
She's doing all the things, and she's so good at it. So tell us, where were you before you were aware of the Elevated Mother brand and all of our people? What was going on that when you saw us, you're like, I need that?
So one of the coaches, I've been friends with her on Facebook for a while, and I had seen her posts about Elevated Mother. And I didn't really relate to it a lot. Like, I would see it here and there. I was struggling in my life. COVID happened and I've suffered from depression my whole life. I usually can see when it's coming, when it's leaving. But sometimes that just sneaks in on you when you least expect it. And that's kind of what happened back in July of this year. I was on a mountain. I hike, and I was on a mountain hiking, and I had met a guy there, and he had a friend who had committed suicide. We only had a brief, like 3 to 5 minute conversation. And I walked away from the waterfall and started back down and just felt like I needed to sit down. And I put a post out on Facebook, and Sheree reached out to me while I was on that hike and was like, "Hey, I'd really like to have a conversation with you." And it was just very caring and loving. I actually cried all the way back down the mountain, because of that moment. I was actually in a deep, like, why am I here? Like, um, what's my purpose here? Like, would everybody be better off without me? But that guy made me look at it differently, because although we didn't talk about that, I saw it in his eyes, the sadness, from his really good friend committing suicide. And so that was the beginning. And within a week, I just decided I'm signing up. Like, I had a conversation with Cherie, and then I asked a couple questions. So I kind of did it backwards, because I know there's the collective group, and I wasn't part of that. I just jumped in, feet first, like steam ahead, like. So that's how I found out about EMX, and how I decided to make the decision to put myself first, and was hoping that I would find a group of people that I could relate to, that they could support me. And that's exactly what I found.
It's such a beautiful beginning. And we've had many of those where they didn't come through a different line. They just were in a moment of energy, and the energy connected with one of our team members. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So when you came in, did you have any hesitations? Kind of sounds like you didn't have very many. Was there anything? Because some people hold on to hesitations for like a long time before they come in. And I'm curious if you had any.
Um, well, to just be honest, my hesitation was the Christian part of it, right?
Mm.
Because I had left religion, Jesus, everything for like over 20 years. And I've just been going back and finding Jesus the past year. And so it was kind of that, like, how is this going to be? Is it going to be how I was treated before. And
Mm.
so I did have some of that hesitation, but that hesitation was taken away within the first few phone calls. I was like, wow, this was not what I was expecting. Like, there is no judgment. Like, this is amazing. So after that first one or two phone calls, the hesitations were gone. It was like, nope, this is where I'm supposed to be.
So beautiful. And that is common. People say, wait, you're a Christian group. Are you gonna like try to convert me to something? And I'm like, if you're a Christian, you're already converted. What do you think I'm gonna do? But people do have that concern. They're like, what are you gonna teach me? So I love that you shared that, and that you shared that it was unfounded, because we love to say that, but in this world, that is a rarity to truly find, that there isn't judgment about how you're a Christian. We just like
Right.
you're a Christian. So we invite the support of Jesus Christ and the Spirit, the things that Jesus taught. Tell us about anything that surprised you. Was it that judgmental space? Any other pieces that you were like, oh, they do this, or things that you maybe had never experienced before? Your favorite pieces of the program? We have sessions with the group, one-on-one sessions. We got a workbook. We got online content. What are kind of your favorite pieces, or pieces that surprised you?
That's a really great question, because I love it all. Like, but the biggest thing that I love about this, it was the retreat, number one. Like,
Mm.
the retreat just brings everything together. I've been doing some of this work for many, many years. I mean, I'm 46. I was divorced at 21. At 25, I started diving in to working on myself, but I never quite got it. Like, I do it, and then it dwindle away, and then I'd read another self-help book, and I'd start doing things again, but I could never find, like, there was something missing. And I got really excited when I realized what I was missing was the actual program, like the step by steps, um, to get to where I'm at. So in 3 months, I think it's been 3 months, I just feel like I've shifted so much with my relationships, with my two kids that live at home, my husband, my older kids. Um, it's it's just an amazing shift, and that retreat really brought it like full circle for me. I'm
The
excited for the next one.
I know, right? They're the best. When people are like, well, should I go to that retreat? What do you think? And I'm like, just come. Just come, because it'll be amazing. That's so, so special. I love the live events too. Um, so then as you found the steps and you found the framework to actually apply the things and connect with it, what has been one of the wins you're most proud of, things that you're like, oh, this happened for me?
So the biggest win that I've had is at the beginning of September. So that would have put me at about 6 weeks, 2 months into the program. And we were heading down to Cedar City to do a half marathon there. And our truck broke down. And, it was just contrast after contrast coming up. But during that period of time, I was able to let my husband be the husband and figure out if he could figure out what was wrong with the truck. I got to watch my son um, just becoming this young man who was willing to help his dad with the truck. And I got to see my daughter just cry, like extreme sobbing. And I couldn't figure out why. And I just thought of the teachings, everything that I learned. And I was just like, why are you crying? What's wrong? I was able to stay calm and talk to her. And she just was able to voice that she loved me so much. She was so sad I was going to miss my half marathon. And that moment on the side of the freeway with the three people I live with, and I love all my children, but these are the people I live with every day. I was able to see things changing within them. Or maybe it was always there, but I was shut off from seeing it. And now I'm open to it. And those are that's the biggest thing for me, is just the relationships with my kids and my husband, and being able to connect with them and just see them growing into these amazing people that they are.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I remember you posting about that. You had trained all this time for that race, and then you like weren't even going to run it, and the connection that your family had to support each other no matter what the outcome was. That is fantastic. I'm feeling all the feels. What does that mean to you, I guess, in like your journey of, I've taken these self-help books and I do this thing, for you to be able to sit in that awareness of these people that are choosing you, the people that are choosing you and that you're choosing in, like, what does that mean for the rest of your life? What does that mean to have had that experience?
It means a lot. Awareness is a scary thing though. Like, although I'm really happy I've become aware and been able to have these special experiences with my family, once you're aware of something, it's like you can't go back, right? And so sometimes these experiences, they're great, but when contrast comes up, sometimes they're not great experiences. And so I'm like, man, why did I need to be aware? Like, I don't want this awareness. But once you sit in it and once you realize it, you're like, wow, I'm becoming a better person. Like, and right now in this journey, I'm trying to figure out what my purpose is, like what God's purpose is for me. And I'm just finding new ways. Like, I watched a podcast yesterday, of Jelly Roll and Jay Shetty. And it was profound. It really touched me. I don't know if I would have sat through a podcast like that. It was an hour, 40 minutes, if I hadn't been going through this program. Because now when I look at things on Facebook and I'm scrolling through, I'm thinking to myself, should I really be scrolling through Facebook, or should I maybe watch this informational podcast that might help me in my daily life? And that's what I did yesterday. So awareness is great, but it's scary too. But I love it all.
Well, one of the things that I want to ask you this, a lot of people say I've maybe been aware in my life, kind of like you, like I've done some work. I maybe even had coaching, but the community and the coach support was why they were able to sit in it this time, why they were able to sit in the contrast and move through, versus, nope, contrast came, I'm done. Like, I must be in the wrong spot if it's this hard, or this is so uncomfortable, this can't be right, or I don't like the awareness. It makes me feel small, less than, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
the initial feelings before you have more awareness that that's actually you moving in faith, right? Has that been true for you? Was it the community? Why do you think you were able to sit in it this time and really appreciate it, even though you've experienced hard contrast?
I do believe it's the community. The coaches are always right there. If you need a call, you've got a call. When you first come into the program, you ask a lot of questions in the calls. You are vocal. Well, I guess that depends on your personality. I'm pretty vocal. I talk a lot. So I bring that up. But right now, as it is, like, I'm trying to sit back more and watch now. And I've made friends with some of the women in this group where I just can reach out on Messenger and be like, "Hey, I'm I'm having this right now. Like, what are your thoughts on this?" And they do the same for me. We become friends. It's not just it's not just the EMX community. It is in the beginning, right? But we become friends. We become like, I feel like I have lifelong friends that I'm going to have within this community. So yeah, I would definitely say the community is what has helped me stay on the path. Because sometimes it is hard. Sometimes I want to throw my hands up in the air and say, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this anymore. But then I'm like, nope, Heather, schedule a call with a coach, reach out to so and so. They had a similar experience. I remember them saying something, and that's what helps keep you pushing through.
Beautiful. Well, there's a lot of women that are similar in your situation. They work full time, they've got a couple kids, or they've got older kids, they've lived a lot of life, and they think, I don't know, is that program, is it even worth it for me at this stage in my life to do something like that, to change things up, to shift? Do I really want to invest my money in that? Because at this stage of our lives, and these mothers, there's some people where they're kind of in that younger stage and money isn't so maybe figured out. And there's still those women that are similar in your spot and they're sitting on this. We have several I can think of right now. What would you tell them that have those hesitations? Like, do I want to put my money there? Am I too old? Is it too much? What are you going to tell these women about coming in? Because they're going to watch this.
I would say just do it. Put yourself first. Um, the money will be figured out. And that's one thing that I've learned through this program too, is just, taking that deep breath and being like, I'm putting myself first. I want to change. And you're never too old to change. I mean, in this program, I wanted to tap into my creativity, in my creative side. That was really suppressed as a child for me. And this program's allowed me to dig into that. And I've started guitar lessons, and I may not be able to stick with it. I'm having some wrist issues, and that's heartbreaking to me. And so I'm dealing with that. But when I really think of the program and what I've learned, what was my intention? And I feel like us women don't necessarily think of like, what's the intention to pour money into ourselves? We're always willing to give it to other people, the other people in our families. But what about us? So if you're sitting on the fence post, wondering, should I do this? Should I not do this? I say jump off the fence post and just do it, because it's going to help you. It's not only going to help you, it's going to help your family too. Because my husband has even said, you are the change. Like, we were at Elevation Worship concert, and the pastor there, they had a sermon, and my husband at first was like, you brought me to a concert with a sermon? Like a pastor. But in that, he talked about stuff that we talk about in this community, in this program. And he talked about changing generations. So, and my husband tapped me on the leg and said, that's you. You're the one changing the generations. And I couldn't even look at him because I didn't want to cry. But that's what this program will do. So if you're sitting on the fence post and wondering, like, should I do this? Just do it. Like, it's changing so many generations with my older children, even with my mom. Just saying, you're not too old to learn something new, mom. If you want to do piano, go do piano. And so I've been able to step up to the plate and be this voice for all of us women. And even my boy, I have one boy and my husband, but it seems to be working more with my daughters, with my mom. But I think it's because us women don't put ourselves first. And we need that community to say, no, it's okay. You can be put first.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Any last wisdom? And if you don't have any, that's fine. But if there's like, I just want to put this out in the world, and maybe that's that last message you gave. Is there any other words you want to share with us before we go?
No, I think I covered everything.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much for your time, for your commitment, for your wisdom. I feel so blessed to have had you in my life, and your example and seeing your willingness and seeing that transformation has just been priceless to me. So thank you a million times for coming in and for all the help and support. So have an amazing day, my friend.
All right, you too. Bye.